Hey, the Monday rate update is coming out a little later this week. And why? Because Monday's a holiday. We're just enjoying another 3-day weekend, 4-day if you count Friday the 13th. But what is going on? Well, I tell you what, last week on Friday, we had the Consumer Price Index, which is a major inflation report, come out, and it showed inflation dropped. Matter of fact, core inflation, which is what the Fed uses to kind of determine whether or not they're going to raise or lower the Fed funds rate, that came in a lot lower than what was expected. Now, we have this week, there are a few reports that are going to impact rates. There are several housing-related reports, pending home sales, new home builders surveys. So those won't really move the market. They just kind of tell us where we've been and what expectations are, in particular for the builders. But on Wednesday, we do have the Fed Open Market Committee, or the FOMC. Their minutes from their January meeting are going to come out, and that will probably move the market. And what is going to move the market is, what is the Fed thinking? What are they thinking with regards to interest rate cuts in March when they meet again in March? Now, with inflation going lower, remember their goal is 2%. Right, we're at 2.4 PCE. We're at like 2.7, 2.8. Well, if they continue to track lower, well, that's great. That is very good, and that means, you know what? The Fed can lower the Fed funds rate. But the Fed doesn't just look at inflation, they also look at jobs and the labor market. And there are many people who are saying, you know what, the labor market isn't very strong. Last week, we also had a jobs report, and it was a little late, and it was a little questionable by many, or questioned by many, but that labor report showed unemployment dropping from 4.4 down to 4.3%. It was actually 4.28, so really in the twos, but rounded up to 4.3. So there's these 180. You got lower inflation, but you also got lower unemployment. And right now, the Fed might just say, you know what? We're going to wait a little longer before we make the decision. And in any case, that report we see on Wednesday, that will kind of give us a little bit of an idea of what the Fed is looking at as they go into March. But also know this. We have the PCE report coming in on Friday. That's another big report. The PCE is a personal consumption expenditure report. And that actually is the one the Fed really uses as it monitors where we're at on the inflation, getting down to 2.0. And the expectation is actually core is going to go up to 3%, from 2.8 to 3%. If it's wrong, that is going to be very good for interest rates on Friday. We also get another GDP, a gross domestic product report for the fourth quarter of 2025. And our last GDP report came in very strong. So if this one shows a very strong economy, again, the Fed may lean towards not lowering the Fed funds rate in March. So we'll see what happens, but a lot of news coming out this week that will move the markets. Also on Thursday, going back to Thursday, we have continuing and initial jobless claims, and we also have the leading economic indicator report that comes out. And while this report has pretty much shown that we're going on recession for the last 3 or 4 years, the numbers that are in that report, which is a conglomerate of many different reports, they may show a tightening economy, a tightening labor market. So we'll have to see what those kind of say. But where does this leave this with interest rates as we start the week? Well, guess what, folks? We are near 3-year lows for interest rates. Conventional, we are just over 6%. We could get into that 5 range this week, and that is very good. VA, we started the month of February. We were at 5.87%. Now we're down to 5.64%, and that's good. And if you go from the short-term outlook, where it looks very steep, to the long-term outlook, go look at the 5-year. That is a great kind of downward trend in interest rates. We don't want them falling off a cliff. We want a steady decline, and that's what we're seeing. Yeah, they go up a little bit, but they still come down on that curve, and that's what we want to continue to see. I expect we will continue to see that downward trend this week. You guys have a great week. Hit me up with any questions, and hey, what did you think of the sport day weekend? Did you get out? Did you have some fun? I had some fun. Went out and golfed. I golfed terribly, but I got out and had some fun with friends, and I hope you did too. Have a great week. Aloha.